Hey guys, how's it going? Cheers back again. Welcome to episode number 2 of the Chelsea career mode on FIFA 15. Of course, this is being recorded before you see episode 1, so hopefully the opening video of this series went down well. If you enjoyed that and you enjoy this one as well, then of course feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any further episodes. But as you can see, I've put together a small shortlist. Going to be adding to this shortlist over the next couple of days once I've got the feedback from the opening video and I know who to scout from your suggestions. But we're looking mainly for a player in the centre-back and wing-back positions, as well as perhaps a replacement for John Obi Mikel and or just having an extra player for the rotation in those CDM roles. Unfortunately, some of the players that in real life that have gone out on loan from Chelsea on this particular squad update on FIFA 15 are actually permanently away from the club, which is extremely frustrating. So I'm going to try and buy those players back if I possibly can. As you can see, the board don't want us to win the Champions League. They expect us to at least reach the semi-finals, which is on some parity a little bit less intense, as of course the fact they want us to win a domestic cup and the Barclays Premier League. So at least we don't have to worry about doing a complete overhaul of all 4 competitions. But as you can see, we're getting a lot of transfer action in today. As you can see as well, Juve putting in a massive offer for Thibaut Courtois, which raises the question: what do I do with Petr Cech? Obviously, Thibaut Courtois is going to be my main goalkeeper, as you might expect. He's the better goalkeeper on FIFA, arguably the better goalkeeper in real life, although, of course, Petr Cech is still an extremely talented professional. But the question is, as was the question for Chelsea in real life, do I hang on to Petr Cech and use him as rotation and, of course, then let Mark Schwarzer just sit and rot on the bench and or retire? Or do I move on Petr Cech and use that money elsewhere, although not that we really need that money to be used elsewhere? It's a difficult situation to be in, and I'm still, as of yet, not sure what to do. One thing I am sure what to do with is all of these bids for Oscar, which are just straight up being rejected. He's one of the most promising players in our squad, one of the youngest, one of the most exciting talents in the Barclays Premier League, and of course we want to keep hold of him. But we're looking at players for that CDM role as well, we said. So you will have seen earlier on, we're trying to negotiate a deal with Borussia Dortmund for John Obi Mikel, and one of the players I'm looking at to replace him is actually William Carvalho, another very highly rated young player in European football that has a lot of potential ahead of him. Another player with a lot of potential is Aymeric Laporte. We looked at him in the FIFA potential star series. We also looked at him on Monday in the actual official player potential charts from EA in that article, and he was listed on there very, very highly indeed. So I am looking to bring him into the club, although Marquinhos, of course, has been a go-to for a young potential centre-back for the past few years. A wing-back that was suggested to me actually by a friend, FunkyTown49, suggested Sead Kolasinac. You'll have to let me know in the comment section what you think about him. Of course, Ryan Bertrand is out on loan technically in real life, although he's actually not at the club on this particular squad update, unfortunately, thanks to EA being EA. But I think I might just choose someone else to replace him and leave him at where's he at? Is he at Aston Villa this year? Or is he at Southampton? I always forget. I think he was at Aston Villa last year, and then this year he's on loan at Southampton. But of course I might be wrong. I probably am. If I am, then let me know in the comment section down below where Ryan Bertrand actually is, because my memory is failing me right now. But we're looking at various different options, and even if I do get this offer accepted by Kolasinac, I'll probably wait until I get your feedback on it before actually accepting or rejecting it, and also see who else you guys suggest for that wing-back position. Of course, we had Mattia De Chilio last year on the Chelsea career mode, so unfortunately I won't be picking him up. I'm going to look elsewhere for an alternative. I offered Dortmund 7 million for Mikel there, and they actually turned 7 million down, even though it was only 500k more than they'd actually offered. So I'm going to have to look elsewhere to sell John Obi Mikel. We have brought Josh McEachran back to the club. Unfortunately, Nathaniel Chalobah went to Cardiff City from Burnley instead, so unfortunately can't bring him back to the club. So we have at least brought back one of the youngsters, and FC Cologne were very unwilling to let Thomas Callas go unless I was going to have to pay a lot of money for him, and I didn't want to do that, so he's not going to be coming back to the club either. So unfortunate that we find ourselves in that situation, but unfortunately there's not really too much I can do about it, considering it's more a fault with EA's squad system than actually something I can alter in the game. But still, as you can see, I just accelerated forward to the first friendly so that we can make sure we get some gameplay in this episode at least, so you guys can see the team in action. As you can see as well, we're also getting in a contract deal for William Carvalho. We had the offer accepted extremely cheap, £13.5 million for one of the highest rated or highest potentialed central defensive midfielders in European football. He is very much talked about, in fact, in Europe these days. William Carvalho was linked heavily with Manchester United over the past transfer window, and I tried using John Obi Mikel as a make-way for a Junior Malanda as well there, who also is another young central defensive midfielder who is highly rated. So perhaps Mikel will go out and we'll bring in two new CDMs to, of course, rotate in with Cesc and Matic and Ramirez. Of course, I could always play Cesc at cam in a rotation spot with Oscar should I want to bring in a couple of extra holding midfielders for that more defensive stability. But you can see we're trying to bargain the deal with Borussia Mönchengladbach for John Obi Mikel. Apparently he is very sought after by the German clubs, especially those of the Borussia formality. But I don't even know what I'm saying. But anyway, Chelsea versus RC Lens is the opening friendly. As you can see, we're starting with an extremely strong lineup. In fact, the first team that I'm planning on going into the opening game with against Burnley. So we'll see how we get on. It was unfortunately raining at Stamford Bridge, which is quite disappointing to have the first game that we ever play on FIFA 15 actually be in the rain. But Lens were actually going to get off to the better start. Of course, during the friendlies, I don't tend to have overly extended highlights. Normally just the goals, etc., and any key highlights if there aren't that many goals. But the first instance here is a goal. But look at Thibaut Courtois' save. I'm a little bit concerned. That is pretty much straight at him. I have no idea why he shoved a foot at that. That might just be because that's what EA want to do with realism, but he really should have saved that, is what I'm effectively saying. That was a really disappointing attempt at the save, and he should have done a lot better. But Diego Costa gets through here. Really reckless challenge from the centre-back. Takes Diego Costa out, and he wins us a penalty. You can see he's extremely grubby and dirty. His kit is really, covered in mud now after being destroyed by Ahmed Kantari. And he picks up a booking, rightly so, even though it is a friendly. It'd be a bit harsh to send him off. So as you can see, though, definitely took Diego Costa out, and he crunches to the floor, and he wins a penalty. And you don't mess with Diego Costa, showing his disgust at the challenge from the defender, and perhaps that will be a sign of what will happen during the season, both in real life and on FIFA as well. But Eden Hazard is our designated penalty taker, steps up and tidily slots it into the bottom corner to make it 1-1. So really pleased with that. We managed to bounce back from going behind by going straight up the other end, creating chances of getting ourselves back in front. And then really look at Didier Drogba's socks. He's really grubby already. He's just coming onto the pitch. Why has Didier Drogba got completely filthy socks already? Doesn't make much sense. I think that might be some sort of fault, again, with the physics engine, the fact that EA are like, oh look, people get dirty, even though they haven't actually been on the pitch here, which doesn't make any sense at all. But Didier Drogba comes off the bench, and just 5 minutes after making his entrance onto the pitch, gives us a 2-1 lead with a really spectacular finish. And if you guys would like to see more replays than normal in the opening few games of this series, because of the new engine and the new animations, etc., then let me know in the comment section, and I will show you extended replays, etc., for the games that we have in the perhaps opening 5 or 6 episodes or so. But that's going to bring this one to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, let me know in the comment section as much information as you possibly can about the players that I've highlighted in my shortlist, any players you might like me to add to the shortlist, and of course any feedback you have on the deals that have already been done. As you can see, Carvalho is now a Chelsea FC player. We're still waiting for some feedback from Kolasinac, the young wing back. Let me know what you think about that deal. As you can see, we will play the next friendly against Sassuolo in the next episode. I might change the formation up and the starting personnel to try and give the rest of the squad some first team football, so I can see how they play, because I need to know who plays well in what position and in what formation to fully be able to attack all 4 competitions this year. But as you can see, you should definitely follow me on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Most importantly Twitter, because I do tweet out in real time when I'm recording these episodes, maybe even 3 or 4 days in advance of you actually seeing them, and you could have some real-time impact on the series that go together, whether it's this one, the My Player, or even any of the Ultimate Team stuff. So follow me on Twitter. Links to all 3 of those social platforms will be in the description, as well as a link, or not a link, but just to a schedule that you can see, so you know exactly what to expect from me. I'll have 2 videos every single day. There will be tonight, as it's Wednesday, an Ultimate Team episode. It's my starter packs, I believe, from Ultimate Team I'm going to be showing you tonight. So we'll have some more feedback in that video as well, please, if you could be so kind, when that pops into your sub box around about 8 PM. But for now, that's all from me for this afternoon. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to check the channel page for anything you may have missed over the past few days, whether it's the first episode of this series, the first episode of the My Player series, which started yesterday as well, or any of the other videos that you weren't quite able to watch due to the influx of FIFA 15 content in your sub boxes. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.